I had a cup of, I had a leftover cup, okay? And I didn't know that there was some extra water in it. So I put a different cup inside that cup. And then when I lifted the cup with my new drink in it, the old drink fell off. There was water in it, mixed with a splash of lemonade. Let me give you a life hack. The lemonade that they make at Chipotle, at least in Omaha, Nebraska, it's good lemonade. But you can't just fill your entire glass with lemonade. It's too much sugar. It's too crazy. It's too strong. All lemonade too strong, you got to dilute it. So what you do is you get a cup for water and you fill it up almost all the way with water, and then you do a splash of their lemonade. Boom. Perfect. It's like squeezing fresh lemons into the water, but better because it's got a little bit of sugar. And that's what I spilled all over my pants. So it wasn't just water, it was a little bit of lemonade. So it's sticky. And now I don't even want to go on today. I don't even want to take on the day. I don't want to live the day with a giant wet spot on my leg that is slightly sticky. So my day might be, I don't know what to do. I want to change, and I'm too far from home. So this is my life. And this is our life today on this show. I'm going to talk about Rome. That's right. There was an article a few years ago that said that most men think about ancient Rome quite a bit. And that might be true. I don't know why we're fascinated with ancient Rome, but we are. So we're gonna talk about it because that's what I've been doing lately. Reading about ancient Rome, watching shows on ancient Rome. So much Rome going on in my brain. And you've heard of the A sides. The A sides. Caesar getting turned into a pincushion, just stabbed so many times. A tu brutes. You've heard it. Nero playing his fiddle while Rome burned. Cleopatra and Mark Antony. You've heard it all, but what you haven't heard are the B-sides. We're going to talk about some of the B-sides that I've been learning about. Like there was a bone-chilling cult of Mithras. So beneath the streets of Rome, soldiers were meeting by lamplight. They weren't drinking, they weren't gambling, they weren't chasing women, but they were kneeling before a painting of a guy stabbing a bull, which kind of reminds me of the game that the Mexicans play, where they anger a bull with a red cloth and then stab it with tons of swords as everyone cheers. Never been a fan. Never been a fan of enticing an animal to anger and then stabbing it with swords. It's not really my jam. But this was Mithraism. So it was an underground religion of Rome's legions, the armies. So not in temples, no public prayer, no pamphlets. They just met underground in candlelight and would just do crazy stuff. It was male only, 7 ranks, built on loyalty and courage. I mean, there was blindfolds involved, whips, probably fire, and they met in caves, painted with stars, oaths sworn under flickering oil lamps. So Mithras represented light and truth triumphing over darkness, which sounds noble, Kind of sounds Christian until you remember it involved blood sacrifices. So they would kill bulls, animals, drink blood, do the whole thing. And then it basically like vanished overnight. So Christianity overtook. This is terrible. Damn! Woo! Hiya! He's alive! Oh, that felt good. Dude, that felt so good that I think I need a cigarette. Just, hopefully you get it. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. So, the empire was not Rome in the empire, the Senate, the people in charge. They weren't really too fond of them shedding blood and drinking the blood under the city grounds. So they would call it treason. And but once Christianity overtook, it disappeared. So that's the Mithras cult. Very interesting. That's why Rome was so completely insane. And it lasted for over Rome itself lasted for over 2,000 years. I would argue that it's still going today, that they just consolidated the empire into the Roman church and then continue to influence and take over the world using the Catholic Church. But hey, who am I? Who am I but a lonely pleb? So then there was the emperor who taxed pee. So Vespasian was the kind of guy, he looked at a public urinal and he was like, dollar signs. And he taxed the urine. So people collected it, sold it to tanners for cleaning leather. So Rome's entire economy ran on piss and capitalism, basically. When his son Titus complained, he held up a coin and said, "Money doesn't stink." But he said it in Latin. And I do not know Latin, so I can't tell you exactly how he said it. So then there was the senator. I like this guy, dude. This guy is cool. He faked his own death twice. Valerius Assaticus. Assaticus. Assaticus? Kissing ass. So, dude, this dude, he got charged with treason. Fakes his death, comes back with a new name and a haircut. And was that was my twin brother. Crazy. I just got into town. Been traveling through the desert. I don't know if that's how it really worked, but he definitely faked his own death, comes back to get into politics again. And then they found out. The Senate was like, okay, this is number 2. You're doing it. This guy screwed up. This dude screwed up so much that he had to fake his death twice. And then got caught again. So he would have done third, but they were like, all right, get in a bathtub, open your veins. That's how you die. And then there was an emperor. What was I saying before, dude? I don't even know. I think I was saying that Rome lasted over 2,000 years. Yeah. And I don't know if I finished that thought. I'm still distracted by my wet pants. Like I pissed all over myself and then some. But it lasted from when it was founded, and they went through all these. They had kings at one point, they had the Senate, and then they had the emperors. And this emperor, Diocletian, he ruled half the known world, and he split it up. He had someone else rule part of it. Then he retired to a villa to grow cabbages. And I like that guy, dude. He was just so burnt out. Like, everyone wants power till the end, not this guy. This guy was like, dude, I am done being a human god, a living god, and I am going to go grow some cabbage. The Vestal Virgin who terrified an emperor. I don't know. Like, I don't really I'm not even. I feel like now that I mentioned it, I got to say it, even though I don't want to. But Cornelia, she was a priestess sworn to eternal chastity. She gets accused of breaking her vows. Punishment buried alive, of course. So she walks into court, looks at the emperor in the eye, opens her robe, and says, "If you doubt me, Caesar, behold." He panics and drops the charges. Why does he panic? Because she's like a priestess sworn to eternal chastity. And I'm sure it was like you could never look upon her nakedness. So she got out of that one. Yeah, in Rome, dude, I don't think anyone was eternally chastite. Tiberius, Nightmare Dinner. This one is insane, dude. This one is crazy. Like, Tiberius retires to Capri and turns into like a weirdo, you know, where he's like a Howard Hughes type. And the rumor said that he threw a dinner party where guests thought they would be executed and then served them a meal made from human flesh. Tiberius. He was a wild man, dude. Caligula came after him, and we all know that guy was just riddled with syphilis. You know who else just had a horrible death? Herod the Great. Herod the Great, who was the one alive, because there was like a Herod after him, like his son or something like that. Herod not the Great. But Herod the Great was the one, you know, from the Christmas story, the Bible story, the birth of Jesus, who ordered that like every kid under 2 years old, male child, be like slaughtered and killed or whatever. That was him. And his death was absolutely like horrific, dude. He took a very... I'm going to pull up. I thought about this, and then I'm going to pull up the details. Because I don't want to get it wrong. Because it is so wild. And so this was obviously a very, very evil man. Ordered the killing of tons of children in Bethlehem. And his... in the Antiquities of the Jews, all right, Josephus wrote that he took months to die. He had intense abdominal pain, severe itching across his entire body, swelling of his feet, gangrene in his genitals, all right, that were in the wounds and everything, worms were like growing, living, and feasting. So like worms were eating his balls and his penis. Breath that stank and convulsions, ulcers and internal decay. All right, dude. So this dude probably had, they thought, chronic kidney disease, syphilis, diabetes, all of it, dude. So, I mean, this guy was a monster, though. Like, in this state, like, his mental state deteriorated, and in his final years, he executed 3 of his sons, killed his beloved wife, and grew paranoid that the Jews would celebrate his death instead of mourning. You think so? And that's how he died. Such a wicked man, dude. I mean, what a wonderful death for such an evil man. He had worms ate his penis as he slowly died. And that is how God lets the wicked die. I couldn't think of a better way. So, yeah. Tiberius was a psychopath. Then came Caligula. There was an emperor who banned grapes. He said there was too many vineyards. He said, enough with the grapes. There was a ban. And then there was, oh, dude, this is the gladiator who refused to die. So two fighters, Priscus and Varus, they face off in the arena. Hours go by. Neither gives in. They're just trading sword blow after sword blow, using their shields. It's incredible. People are on the edge of their seats in the Colosseum. Finally, they drop their weapons and say, we're done. So Emperor Titus, moved by their defiance, declares both winners and frees them. The crowd loses its mind. Turns out, mercy was the most shocking act of violence Rome ever saw. Then there was the teen emperor who killed people with flowers. That's right. God, these fucking Roman names. I can't do it, dude. I was like, I think I can say this name. I can't do it. Eligabascius. That's not it. That's not it at all. Ella, umbrella, Ella, you be under my umbrella. Dude, that is terrible. I apologize to everyone. All right, so there's this teenage emperor, and he worshipped a sun god, married a Vestal virgin. We learned about those. They swore eternal chastity. This dude did not care. And he one time dropped so many flower petals from the ceiling that people suffocated before dessert and died. He served peacock tongues, wore makeup, and renamed Jupiter. Eventually, his guards said, yeah, no. They stabbed him and dumped him in the Tiber River. Dude, a lot of the guards for the emperors, like, they killed a lot of emperors, like the guards did, if they didn't like it. Like, at one point in 1 year, there was like the year of 4 emperors. Then another time there was the year of 5 emperors. And this is when like the guards were actually just, the seat for emperor was up to be bought. So whoever, the highest bidder, would just get it. And then if the guards didn't like you, they would just kill you. And then you would be replaced. And then there wasn't really stability or emperor for a good many years until someone would rise up with the military, overtake it, and then rule like with a heavy military hand. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's just a wild time. It was a hell of a time to be alive back then. A hell of a time to be alive. Then there was the philosopher who disappeared from prison. So Apollonius of Tyana, he was, they said, a miracle worker, and he healed the sick, talked to animals, like Dr. Doolittle shit. When Rome arrested him for witchcraft, he just vanished, and no one ever found him. Some people say that he used a trap door. Others aren't so sure. And then there's the poison queen, so Livia, the wife of Augustus. Augustus was the very first emperor. All right, he was declared by Julius Caesar to be his adopted son. So then he actually elevated Julius Caesar after his death to God. And people, had a Julius Caesar cult where they worshipped him as God, which in turn made him the son of God, which is crazy because during his reign, this is when Jesus Christ was born. But Tiberius was the one who was the emperor during Christ's crucifixion. So Caesar Augustus, Octavian was his real name, he died before Jesus even started his ministry. But he ruled for 41 years. He was the one, there's kind of like the show Rome on HBO covers Julius Caesar and then Octavian's rise, if you want to know more. But, then he married a woman named Livia, and she poisoned the hell out of people. I mean, heirs, rivals, nephews. I mean, these people did not care at all about killing. Killing was like, I don't even know, like farting. I don't know why, like farting. I just pictured a dude farting in his toga, and it made me laugh in my head, so I said it. So, yeah, she poisoned anyone that got in her way. They say that she painted on the poison on fig trees and then fed them to people, and then they would just die suddenly. And then there's Commodus. Commodus is the emperor that Joaquin Phoenix plays in the first Gladiator movie. And he was the son of philosopher king Marcus Aurelius, which is in the movie. Like, but that movie it doesn't happen. You know, they took certain story liberties with it, and so it's not all true what they put in there. Like, Commodus didn't die in the ring fighting like a general or like in the Colosseum. He was actually strangled in his bath by his wrestling coach. And his wrestling coach was named Narcissist. Narcissist. Yeah. N-A-R-S or Narcissus. Just because that dude was a narcissist, and then he was strangled by a dude named that. Wild. But he would go and fight in the Colosseum, you know, but of course, like, they were rigged and he couldn't die. But that dude he renamed Rome at one point, Calinia Commodinia, which, like, he named it after himself. Obviously, it didn't stand because it's nuts. But that's how all these people were, man. That's how all these people were. Completely out of their minds. And that's some of the real rum. Chaos. Chaos is what it is. And that's my show today. That's it. Rome talk. I might talk more about Rome tomorrow. I might talk about Rome every day for a month. No, I probably won't. No way I can keep my interest like that. But have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow. This is the Austin Anderson Show.